The Scottish college sector makes a huge contribution to the economy of Scotland. There's no doubt about that. And by and large, our members in the CBI have a very high opinion of the Scottish colleges. They do a very good job. It's obviously going to be important that the colleges continue to do that, because they have to be in a position where they can train young people to have the skills of tomorrow, not just the skills of today. And that means that the Scottish colleges have got to have an ongoing dialogue with business across Scotland, and particularly in their own areas.
I mean, the unique thing about the college sector is it is a sector for all ages and all abilities. I mean, that has to be the major asset that the college sector brings to the country. A college like ourselves, you know, the youngest students used to be 15, now going forward are going to be 13. And our oldest students, you know, some actually 3 in their 90s. But the vast majority, of course, you know, in that age range between 23 to 54, and just this ability of the college sector to respond not just to individuals' needs, but also to link their needs and their skills and develop their skills into what the country actually needs to develop its economy.
I think colleges are unique in the sense that they're very firmly focused on the communities in which they're based. They can be very close to their customers, and provided they're dynamic, they have a culture of positiveness and not defending their own patch, but having a culture of collaboration, then they can be really dynamic, and they should be seen as a community-based education centre with links to all forms of education, whether it be school or indeed higher education, if that's what you want to call it. But really, for the economy to grow in the future, we're going to need colleges providing the skills that are required to, you know, to meet those future economic needs. And we shouldn't look down on the fact that people go to college, quite the reverse. People should be aspiring to learn new skills and grow their skills. And after all, as the demographics are showing, people are living longer, and we need people to get back into the workplace.
Quite obviously, I mean, colleges and universities are central, I think, to the concept that the Liberal Democrats have about where we're going. And I think one of the most important things that we know from pupil motivation inquiries and all that is to have a feeling that people are doing a worthwhile job and have got worthwhile careers ahead of them. Now, I think that's something we've been in a position to offer under the Scottish Parliament, and will increasingly continue to be so. What you're doing as college lecturers and employees of other kinds in colleges are training the current and the next generation of young people. There's few things that are more important than that, and I think the support that's been given by the Parliament, by the Executive, and by, dare I say, the Liberal Democrats as well towards that is increasingly central to what we're trying to do as a country.
Colleges have a really key role to play. We have qualifications that match with economic sectors that are important and growing in Scotland. We have flexible learning programmes that are tailored specifically to students' needs and to business needs. And we have an in-depth knowledge of the economy in our local areas. We worked closely with businesses so we know what they need, and we can provide exactly the right kind of training. Colleges have always been sensitive to the economy. That's always been our business. So in this new millennium, we can help new businesses start, we can help existing businesses grow, and we can provide management development for corporates. We can operate on all different levels in many different ways to help the economy.
I think there will always be scope for us to do more in developing the people of Scotland. There's no doubt that colleges are playing an ever-increasing role both in the social inclusion agenda, in the rural economy agenda, across the whole economic development agenda. But there's still no doubt that there are pockets of the population we're just not reaching. We've seen significant demand for college education growing over the 5 or 6 years we've been in existence, but we know there are still areas where participation is way below average, young people and older people, and that we really need to continue to do as much as we can to get to the parts that others haven't reached.
In terms of individuals developing their potential, I think we've got a long way to go. There's a sense in which I think, as a nation, those who choose to be developed, we're doing a lot for, but there's still a lot of people that we could do more for. And I think we've really got to address that. And I think one of the things that we're looking forward to is the employability framework from the Scottish Executive. Maybe that will be an opportunity to bring things together. We have a big thrust here at Telford on employability, getting people jobs or getting people development within the job they're in, and they will then make a significant contribution. So it really is about jobs.
I think there are always opportunities to do more. It's about being smart and successful, and you know, that is very much the mantra of the Scottish Executive. And I think that the college sector has a very, very important role to play in delivering that.
Well, I think the biggest challenge for Scotland is to face up to future decades, and I think if we are going to live in a world where ideas, creativity are going to be the norm, where the knowledge economy is a reality rather than a buzzword, then we have to have real lifelong learning, not lip service to lifelong learning. And I think equipping people with the tools to change and to develop and to learn new skills and new trades for things that we can't even comprehend at this day and age for the future, I think is the most fundamental thing about education, and something that this Parliament should lay the firm foundations for learning for life.
Well, I think the verdict would be about Scotland is could do a lot better, actually. We have been perennial underachievers, underperformers, if you like, in terms of our economy for a large number of years. The latest figures would support that. We're still growing at about, if we're lucky, 2/3 the rate of the UK. So we have not experienced the quite high and significant levels of growth that the UK has over the past few years. And if you look further afield and compare us to various other small countries, small nations, you'll find that our growth rate has not been that impressive. It's been relatively good, but there is a huge potential to do a lot better.
I think we always need to do more to encourage and develop the entrepreneurial culture. I think let's be clear that entrepreneurs do not necessarily have to go and start up and run their own business. What we need in business for the future is the kind of entrepreneurial attributes coming out from the young people from our schools, colleges, universities that can help drive our SME market in Scotland. I think that message needs to get across more, that it's not about entrepreneurs and start-up and business, it's about developing and running and driving existing businesses in Scotland. That's what I'd like to see, and that's what I believe a true partnership, a real partnership with the colleges and the universities will create for Scotland.
The key thing is we have to turn around Scotland's economic underperformance. We need policies in place, both investing in infrastructure and reducing business burdens. That means that instead of having an economy in Scotland lagging behind the rest of the UK, we start to lead the rest of the UK. And to do that, we need a highly trained and educated workforce, which is where the colleges come in. And if we turn around that economic underperformance, we'll start turning around our population decline. People want to come and live and settle here, and we'll get better public services. So in the end, everybody wins.
Idea of entrepreneurship and the spirit of entrepreneurship is certainly alive. What worries me is that it is not alive in sufficient numbers of people, particularly young people and women, and particular attention is being paid to those. I would like to see that continued, reinforced, and particularly amplified in areas such as the former coal mining areas, where we still see progression rates from school to job without the further and higher education qualifications coming in between. I'd like to see that increased.
I mean, let's be quite honest, you don't expect the government to keep funding us. So we've got to go out ourselves, you know, as a college and bring in money. We've got to go out, you know, and with our own skills, you know, and identify the needs and really make money from it ourselves, but at the same time help the business community. So I would suggest that all colleges have got to get in with the local community, business community, go out, meet them through the Chambers of Commerce, through the various other organisations, network, but let them know you're there and don't make any bones about it and tell them what you can do for them.